last few days have just been some of my favorite days in a while. Don't get me wrong, I've loved traveling with Kaylee for these last 2.5 years, but I feel like I just needed this, just being solo, being able to go on amazing hikes, jump off of waterfalls, go swimming, and even play with a little wild sloth. No way. What do you think of this, Lola? Yeah. What do you think of this sloth?
Totem animal.
He's looking right at us. You want to be his friend? We were just walking down the side of this road here, and we look over at the fence, and this person's front yard is a sloth.
Just hanging out.
What are you doing?
Nice of you.
You look so happy. The last few days have just been amazing, and I wasn't expecting to be here in this house. This is where we're storing all of our things. You can see these are our solar panels, and then we have this water tank and just a bunch of other stuff. This is where we're just storing our stuff for now, and I got a message last night that I had to move everything out. I thought I had more time, but I have to move everything out of here now. So I'm kind of running around getting stuff done. But while I do all this stuff, today I wanted to talk about something that I've been waiting to talk about for a while. I feel like we never got proper closure on van life. We've been living in a van for 2.5 years. So I just wanted to take this video to talk about our reality, our experience, what we think about van life, from the good, the bad, and kind of like the social media side of it, because social media side is a little different. So living in a van is the most freeing and liberating thing I've ever done in my life. Not having to pay rent in itself creates so much freedom, like more than I ever thought would be possible. But just taking that, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 and putting it in your pocket to do whatever you want with is amazing. But it's honestly so much more than just money. It's also the time. Like, living in a small space, living in a vehicle will save you so much time. And that's really how we fell in love with tiny living, is just having more time to do the things we want to do. But I think just to sum it up quickly and vaguely, living in a vehicle gives you the monetary freedom and the freedom of time to just do the things that you genuinely want to do. The last owner of this car just so happened to leave an umbrella in it. So if you're watching this video, thank you for leaving your umbrella, because you're gonna keep me nice and dry. So I think the positives of van life are pretty straightforward. The big thing is everyone's gonna kind of have their own specific positives or why they're doing it. But I think the negatives aren't as straightforward, and I think it's a lot more deep and a lot more complicated than just not having a toilet or not having a shower. Today is actually Panama's Independence Day from Spain. And in Boguete, they have one of the biggest parades in all of Panama. And the funny thing is, today, for me, right now, this was filmed on Thanksgiving back in the States. And that kind of ties into my first point about, the negative sides of van life. And that's one of the hardest things for me has been just spending so much time away from my friends and family. And not only that, but after 2.5 years, some relationships just start to kind of deteriorate. I haven't seen some of my really close friends for over 2 years, and that's been really hard for me. And I think that, that's something that just comes with living a life of travel and not staying in one place. So the next bad thing about van life is kind of the stress that comes with not having an income or a revenue stream. For us, when we started van life, YouTube was kind of just like a hobby. And the two of us didn't have an online job or anything. At the time, we were looking at teaching English online. We were looking at a few other jobs. We really didn't have a steady stream of income. And I don't know if you guys have ever lived like that for a long period of time. But when you go 2, 3, 4 months, and all you're doing is spending money, it can start to provoke a little bit of stress. Your money's almost like your timer. And as you start to see all this money that you worked so hard to, accrue and to build up and to save, as you start to see it dwindle, it starts to kind of make you nervous. I'm just driving up to our land now because I want to go and check our water tanks. It's been about a week since we've been here last, and I want to go see how much water we've collected, how much rainwater we've collected off of our rain roof. But while I'm driving up there, I just want to tell you about kind of the last big thing that I think that's hard about van life. And it's kind of what I'm going to call travel burnout or van life burnout. And the best way I can explain it is things after a while, like the first few days or few weeks or even the first few months feels so euphoric and like so amazing, and everything is so beautiful, and everything feels so good. It's like the first time you go and look at a waterfall, or the first time you go to do a sunrise hike, or you know, whatever. And after a while, it's hard for me to say this any other way, but it just stops to feel, it doesn't feel as special anymore after you've seen the 40th waterfall or you've done your 20th sunrise hike. And this is why I feel like taking breaks while living van life is so important. So let me just finish up the positives and negatives of van life by saying, if you have a passion for camping, traveling, being outside, experiencing new things, if you want to have a really exciting experience, a really different experience, and you want to feel that freedom, you need to buy a van or take your car and just experience traveling and doing van life, living on the road, even just for a little bit. And how I'm sure a lot of you and a lot of people in general learn about van life and get inspired about van life is through social media. So now I kind of want to shift it over to the social media side of van life and what my opinions of it are. But before I do, I just came up to our land. Look how beautiful it is up here. It was raining downtown, but it's perfectly clear here. And I need to go and check our water tanks. How much water do you guys think's in there? It's been raining nonstop for 2 days. I'm just praying that there's no leaks. And if these things are empty, then I know we have leaks somewhere, and that's gonna be a big problem. Wow. I'll try to show you. Look. That's how much water we have. Let's say maybe 15% of the way. So not too bad. That's 2 days of rain. So we have, I don't know, 20 more days of rain. If we can get these things filled up, I would love it to be at least 3/4 of the way, because I think that can get us by. The dry season here, where this is, there's a bunch of different microclimates in this region. So in this one, it still rains a little bit throughout the dry season.
Hello friends from very wintry, cold, snowy Massachusetts. We're having our first snowfall of the season. So me, my mom, and my grandma are all cuddled up, drinking tea, watching Christmas movies all night, missing Jordan and Lola terribly. Terribly. I have not gone a day without FaceTiming him or calling him a bajillion times, but it's all good. We're gonna make it through. We're doing all right. So I just want to give you guys a quick little update. So for those of you guys who know about our El Salvador retreat happening in March, we have 3 spots still available. So I'm going to put all the information in the description box below, but just to give you guys a little reminder, this retreat, this trip that we have planned is going to be very different and unique compared to like your typical vacation. It's going to be revolved around the true culture, the true authenticity of El Salvador. So 3 spots still available. I'm so excited to meet all you guys that already did sign up. So any more information you want to know about this trip, again, information in the description box below. So now, time to go make some more tea, get back in this warm house. Let's take it back to Jordan and Lola down in sunny Panama.
I don't think anyone likes being here more than Lola. She's got the zoomies right now. She's just running all around like crazy. So now I kind of want to shift over to talking about the social media side of van life. And what kind of inspired me to talk about this was I saw a video talking about how van life YouTubers glorify van life and warning people that van life isn't what is shown on YouTube. And then I saw a bunch of comments of people saying, after watching this video, I don't want to live van life anymore. And it made me so sad. I was just like, I don't want anyone to miss out on an experience like this, because I think van life is such a unique experience. And I don't want anyone to sacrifice that based off of just one video. And as someone who's made over 300 videos about van life, I've been to RTR twice, I've been to a bunch of van life festivals. I've had so many people making videos and taking photos about their van life experience. I'm hoping I can kind of weigh in on my understanding of it and what the differences are between real van life and social media van life. Lola, look how dirty you've made this car. Look at that. I told you to wipe your feet before you got in. You made the car so dirty, honey. Everyone who's sharing their van life journeys is a storyteller. Nothing more than that. We're all trying to share our story in the best, most captivating, most entertaining, and most authentic way possible. Now, why this matters is because all of the best storytellers, whether it's Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Steven Spielberg, they all base their stories around conflict. So when trying to tell the best story possible, we find conflicts throughout our van life experience to basically shape the story around. And I'm not saying every single video has to have a conflict. That's why you see videos like A Day in the Life, or What We Eat in a Day, or even videos like this that are more informational. But because we're all trying to tell the best story that we possibly can, you're gonna see a lot of conflicts in a lot of van life videos. And I would say that's one of the biggest differences between social media van life and real van life. Now, of course, in every van life experience, there's gonna be conflicts, there's gonna be challenges, there's gonna be problems, there's gonna be breakdowns, there's gonna be border crossings, there's gonna be things that go wrong. But any of those conflicts aren't gonna seem as big of a deal as you see posted on van life YouTube vlogs. Because we make videos and we tell a whole day in 8 to 12 minutes. And if there's a big challenge, that's gonna encompass the whole video. That's what we're mostly gonna talk about. But that's not what the whole day entailed. Like, there's usually a lot of downtime, there's usually a lot of waiting around, and none of that gets put into the video, because if you sat there and watched us sit in a waiting room for 2 hours, you would all be bored out of your minds. Now, I think this is really interesting because the most common criticism that I see about van life YouTubers is that we're over glamorizing it and we're making it look better than it really is. I understand where this is coming from because we do stuff like color correct our footage, do cool little edits and transitions, we put music behind the footage and do slow-mo B-roll and all this kind of stuff. But the intention of that is to make the viewer, to make you guys feel the way that we felt in that moment. And just turning the camera on and sticking it there and showing you isn't going to provoke any kind of emotion. Let me try to explain this with an example. There's a marching band playing right here. So if I stick the camera like this is what I'm seeing right now. But I can try to show you how I feel when I walk around this marching band by doing something like this. We do edits like that and transitions, and we try to make our videos look as good as possible, not to make our life look better than it is, but just to share our emotion and how we felt in that moment with all of you. And it's not to be inauthentic, and it's not to make you jealous of what our life is like or try to make van life look better than it is, because it's not just all glamour. And I think anyone that is trying to glamorize van life, I have a ton of sympathy for, because there's gonna have to be a lot of thought and a lot of inauthenticity, a lot of just faking everything from how you're feeling to your personality to who you are as a person to your day-to-day life. So many of those things is going to require so much effort, and if you're genuinely not happy and you're living in a van and you're trying to pretend like you are, that person's going to be having such a bad time. So anyone that is trying to glamorize their life is just fooling themselves, and they're putting in a ton of effort and a ton of time and a ton of stress. But for the most part, I really disagree with this common thought that van lifers are glamorizing their lives. And I more so would put the criticism on that maybe they're being a little bit over dramatic about the conflicts, or they're making conflicts seem like a bigger deal than they are. So that's just my perception on all this. That's just how I feel after, making over 300 van life videos and being a part of this community for the last, 850 days. So I think that's where I'm gonna let this one go. For those of you that are aspiring van lifers, I will just tell you, go for it, and don't let any silly little video that you see on the internet stop you. If you have the inspiration to do it, I promise you won't regret it. But I don't have a house right now, and with this parade going on in town, there's no real place for me to stay because it's just mayhem around here. And I'm pretty sure these drums are gonna go all night. So I have some friends, they're actually Venezuelan, and they live down the road. They're gonna let me go sleep at their house. So that's where I'm headed. See you guys next time.